Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 30560 Southwest Magnolia Avenue here in Wilsonville. We're located at the rear of the home. We're going to do a rescope here. We were out here scoping the other day. We had a fairly significant belly between here and around in this back right corner of the house. So a repair has been done here, and we're checking to make sure that the repair looks good. And then beyond that point, there's sporadic bellies throughout the line. Everything beyond this corner right here, though, that we're going to about 25 feet away from us, were very, very minor, in my opinion, and not repair worthy, or at least in need of repair, not unless it was required to fix all the slope and grade back here. So anyway, we're gonna insert the camera here. We're also gonna put a bunch of water down the line. I'm gonna show that here on camera. And I'm doing this from the outside right now. I'm pouring. We're going to put about 3-4 gallons of water down the line here. Let the whole thing drain through, and then we'll see how this looks once we push the camera in. Alrighty, we just finished putting about 6 jugs of water down the line here. Wait for that to drain off completely here, and then we're going to scope out and get around this back right corner of the house. And in a circumstance like this, I'm not necessarily expecting absolute perfection. Hopefully they got all the standing water out. This line is insanely shallow. The main lateral is only about 3 to 3.5 feet deep, which is incredibly shallow for the length this line is. So unless you're doing a full line replacement, sometimes you can correct the majority of the belly. You still have a little bit left over, which is fine in my opinion. So yeah, we do have still a little bit of water in the line here. It's very, very minor. You've got about a 1/16 of an inch of standing water here. And I honestly, I kind of expected to have a result similar to this. So at the deepest point here, you've got my camera lens sits about 1/4 inch off the bottom of the pipe. That water line is just coming up to the top of that. And then we hit the transition here to PVC pipe. So at its worst point here right now, we've got about, we're hitting just at the very top of my camera lens. You've got somewhere around 3/4 of an inch of standing water here by the time you hit the end of this stretch of pipe. And then that's where the repair ends here. I'll get my locator out and verify that. Anyway, the vast majority of the belly has been reduced here. It appears anyway. We'll go back and review the old video, but originally you had over 1 inch of standing water in this area. So it wasn't completely and totally corrected, but it has been improved. So the only way you're honestly gonna get this line absolutely perfect, and I mentioned this on the other video, is sometimes you have to fix the entire sewer line, especially when you have tolerances this tight. If that main were 8 feet deep out there, it'd be a much easier circumstance to fix because you have a lot of depth to work with. And in a circumstance like this, you've got a line here that's almost, I think, 85 feet long, and you've got about 3 feet of pipe or 3 feet of depth to work with. And the line exits the foundation here at probably 1 foot to 1.5 feet deep, so you only have really about 1.5 to 2 feet of depth to work with, which is very, very tight. So anyway, I would say this has been improved. It hasn't been perfected or anything of that sort, but it is better than it was. The only way you're going to even get this thing close to perfect is if you repair the entirety of the sewer line. And even then, the depths you're working with here, there's a chance that this could belly out again. Ideally, you've got a main out there 6-7 feet deep, so you've got lots and lots of depth to work with. Or if this line exited the foundation at, let's say 6 inches deep versus 1.5 feet deep, it gives you a lot more room to work with here. So definitely an improvement. It's not perfect. But at this point, we have less than 1 inch of standing water in the line. It's somewhere around 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch at its deepest point. The vast majority of this, though, has been reduced down to around 1/16 to 1/4 inch of standing water. And typically, I don't get terribly concerned about bellies until you have at least 1 inch of standing water for an extended period of time, for at least 5 to 10 feet. Even at that point, the likelihood of a blockage is fairly low. So we've gotten, especially right up close to the house, the vast majority of that standing water removed here. So anyway, the repair has been done. The line is functioning at this time. It has been improved by at least 50 to 75% here. Again, not perfect, but a better situation than you had before, without having to literally redo the entire sewer line. Sometimes to get these things perfect, you literally have to redo all of the plumbing inside the house so the line comes out at a shallower depth. It's an extremely expensive issue to deal with. And in my opinion, unless you've got gobs and gobs of buildup and stuff occurring, that is not worth that kind of repair cost. Anyway, the sewer line is functioning at this time.